Hey folks, in January I was at CES and the announcement for the Nikon D5 and D500, and today I've just taken delivery of my own D5. So let's unbox it, talk through why I got it, what I like about it, what I hope will be fixed about it, and in this video I'm going to give you some links where you can download some full res images from it. Hey folks, if you haven't already, please jump over to Granger.com, sign up to the mailing list, you'll hear all the latest news, and you'll get my free guide to improving your portraiture. So, D5. Now, I'll talk as I unbox, okay? If you've seen my original video, I'll pop a card on screen that you can click through to see that one. Impressive, a bunch of advancements over the D4S, and long story short, the reason why this suits me, it's to do with the way I'm shooting these days. I'm spending less time in the studio and more time in exotic places like Bhutan and Peru and Mongolia, running photography tours in harsh conditions where I'm a long time between charges. It's dusty, it's snowing, it's humid. Having a really tough weather-sealed camera is fantastic for me. So I have been looking to get a full body size camera like this one for a while. Knowing this one was coming, I wanted to wait for it, and I'm not a big fan of the 1CF1 XQD that the D4 and the D5 had. So I actually got these ones. The D5 actually have a variation of CF or XQD. You can choose which one. So I went with XQD. And Lexar had a big sale on, so I got a bunch of their XQDs. If you're not familiar, some 4K video cameras, like the Sony ones, use these. And now it's pretty much, other than that, it's only Nikon, but it's the future in terms of card technology. The capacity can go really high, like to terabytes, theoretically, and the transfer speed much, much higher. So these are already 440 megasecond, so just crazy. I've been talking and not unboxing. Warranty manual. Wherever possible, I try to buy local to get the local warranty. This is an Australian model. It was actually a massive pain trying to get this one, and despite having been chasing it since it was announced, I missed out on the first round of shipments, which is why I haven't had any content out on this yet. Opening up our little side section, the D5 strap, which will never be opened and will be still sealed in the bag for when I resell this in several years' time. Little adapters, cable adapters coming with the little clip down adapters for your video out and power, seeing this one is doing video now. Here is the battery. This one's using the NEL 18A, and the 2-bay charger. This one's grey, not black. So if you haven't seen one of them, it's still a figure 8 plug, and you can plug 2 batteries on there. The thing is, you do actually need 2 battery door covers, otherwise you need to keep taking the door cover off one and onto the other. So I've actually ordered a second battery and a second door cover so that I don't need to keep fiddling around with that. Here's the USB 3 cable, and then the camera itself. There's really not a lot in them these days, not a lot of packaging, no styrofoam. The environment's very happy about that. Opening it up. Now, like I said, I had good hands-on with this on the first day. In terms of handling and everything, I've seen some videos out there. I don't know what the hell people are talking about. The build quality is just as good as every other one. The door mechanism, all of that stuff feels good. It feels strong. It's exactly what you expect for the top of the line body. Now, whether or not this overall camera is going to suit you is hugely personal, and for most people it won't. It's crazy expensive. It's high frames per second. By today's standards, it's relatively low megapixel. We're talking 20 megapixel, whereas, you know, my D810 is 36 and my Sony A7R II is 42 megapixel, and there's the Canon that's over 50, and so on and so forth. But for me, 12 megapixel was a bit small, and 16 was just borderline. 20 is a comfortable zone for me. When I'm shooting festivals and stuff, having a great focus, tracking high frames per second is really important. Now, this is not a bagging on Sony video, but one reason why a camera like this, even with its lower resolution, is a better choice for me than the A7R2, or even with the better noise performance I expect of the A7S2, why this one is a better choice, is the speed. Now, I've made a lot of fantastic shots with the A7 and R and S2s, but they're slower to focus, to start up, inexplicable lagging that I found on a lot of my trips. These sort of cameras just don't have that. I recently took the D4 through Hong Kong at Chinese New Year, and just the speed at which it acquires the subject focus and is able to track, it's unparalleled. And the kind of shots you can get, it makes a big difference if in, say, the flourish of dance as someone spins, you get focus instantly and get 12 shots as they do their 1 second spin. It's a big difference to it taking half a second to focus, you only starting halfway through their turn, and then getting 2 or 3 shots in that remaining half a second. Big difference in the kind of resulting images that you can make. The major spec thing on this that's a downer is the 4K video. It's great that it's including it. Before long, every camera will be shooting 4K video. It's like, going D3, D3S, D4 from nothing through to 1080. This is the equivalent of having 720 HD in a camera. Sure, it's doing 4K on paper now, but it's limited to 3 minutes. Now, a lot of people will say, and a lot of people have said, and it drives me crazy because it's just nonsense, that nobody's buying a camera like this for video. This is for journalists and press photographers, not people who are doing video. Well, first of all, it's not only for journalists and press photographers, and secondly, most journalists and press photographers now need to capture video content. And for you, 3 minutes may be just fine, but for a lot of people like me, that's not enough. Right now, I'm recording in 4K and in 4K, and I would have already had to stop and reset the recording a couple of times or buy an external Atomos, an external recorder, which I may end up doing, getting that for the studio to be able to use this for longer recordings. But I sincerely believe that any time now, Nikon is going to update it to either 20 or 30 minutes. Probably 20 because their high recording mode in a lot of their cameras in the highest quality is only 20. You need to go to the lower quality to get the 30 minutes. So whilst yes, it's more of a sports shooter, it is also a video camera. You can't get away from that. You may be a purist and only use your camera for stills. A lot of people are using it for video. Now, the D500 is doing 4K as well, and it has a quirky thing where it splits the file into 3-minute clips, but that's not an issue. Even the GoPro does the same thing. It splits them into clips because of the maximum file size it can write you, because of the file format it's using. But when you import it into your software, it just sees it as one file, so that's no big deal. The D500 will still do overall 29 minutes and 59 seconds, and that recording limit is based on taxation laws that video cameras are taxed higher than stills cameras, and video cameras if it records over half an hour. Ridiculous, but that's why they cap it like that. I've heard people speculating with no evidence that the reason that this doesn't do it is because it's a fully weather sealed body and there's heat issues. That may be true, but the Canon 1DX2 does a full half hour at 60 frames a second of 4K, and then the older, what was it? I forget the name, but they had before the 1DX that also did video and it did 4K, and it also was able to do half an hour. So this guy's only real competition is the 1DX2. It's ever so slightly lower resolution than this, but it's got higher frames per second and it does much better video performance in terms of specs anyway. Need to test it out, right? This goes to stupid ISO, 3 million, we'll never use it, but it does have a brand new AF system with a huge array of points. This deserves to have a proper test, and I've got a model coming in this week. I'm going to be doing a bunch of different testing to do a proper review on it. But for now, if you click through on the link that's in the caption below, I will take a few test shots with it now and let you download the fine JPEG and the raw file of them so that you can have a play with them. Fortunately, Lightroom and Photoshop on CC have already been updated with the profiles for this, so if you're using them and you already have the updates, then you'll be able to read the raw files no problems. So stay tuned, you're going to see a lot of content coming with this. I'm off to Bhutan again next Tuesday, setting up my 2017 tour, and then I'm off to Namibia and Ethiopia in May, running a tour there, and then my Peru tour, which still has spots available, in July. So make sure you check it all out. I would love to see some of you on those tours. So if you've enjoyed this and you'd like to see the upcoming videos with this guy, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. If you haven't already, please jump over to Matt Granger and you can check out on the workshops page where I'm going in the world, all of my different download courses, bunch of different information that you can check out there. Thanks guys, I'll see you soon.